This is a PR group case study. Given Hour presents Change Direction. And this is presented by Annalisa, Courtney, Katie, and Jared. So the background of our case study is that the climate towards mental health throughout the United States is somewhat negative, and this is due to many people being unaware of their friends, family, and loved ones suffering from mental illnesses. Most people associate mental illnesses with extremes and don't realize that discrete symptoms can be a part of a serious problem. With the rise in suicides in America, the growing need to support those with mental health problems is becoming more and more imperative. The purpose of this campaign is to educate and encourage various publics to identify the signs of mental suffering and help those who may require assistance. So our research on this case study was conducted through a convenience poll survey that we shared on social media. The changedirection.org shares that 18% of Americans, which is approximately 48.3 million people, have a mental health condition. And the National Alliance on Mental Illness states that 800,000 people is the estimated number of those who die globally each year of suicide. So our first research question that we asked was, have you or someone you know been diagnosed with a mental illness? And out of 90 people, we had 20% answer no and 80% answer yes. They have personally known someone or personally been diagnosed with a mental health issue. So the second question that we asked is, are you familiar with the 5 signs of emotional suffering? 27% of people answered yes, they are familiar, and 73 said no. So the 5 signs of emotional suffering are personality change, agitation, withdrawal, poor self-care, and hopelessness. Our situation analysis is mental health is a growing concern that spans nearly all age groups and cultures. Utah in particular is one of the highest states in the nation for the rates of mental illness per capita. The main concern in Utah is a taboo nature of seeking help when suffering from these mental illnesses. Change Direction needs to send their message to their key publics and drive traffic to their website in order to change the public's perception of mental health. The website contains key content and directs users to relevant information, but the general public is not aware of this resource that is presented by changedirection.org. So this leads us to the core problem. Our core problem is the problem faced by the Change Direction campaign is changing the conversations happening about mental health. If not achieved, the negative stigma regarding mental health will continue, and people in need of support will go without.
Goals. The goal of the campaign to change direction is to change the culture of mental health in America so that all those in need receive the care and support they deserve. The campaign encourages all Americans to pay attention to their emotional well-being, and it reminds us that our emotional well-being is just as important as our physical well-being. Objectives. Our first objective is to raise awareness and promote public education about mental health by educating 1,000 students at Utah Valley University by March 1st, 2018. This is not to exceed 30% of the budget. Our second objective is to encourage the 1,000 members of the public to pay attention to emotional well-being by March 15th, 2018. This is not to exceed 40% of the budget. And our third objective is to educate 1,000 members of the public about the 5 signs of emotional suffering by March 15th, 2018. This is not to exceed 30% of the budget. Key publics. We have 4 key publics. The first are military and veterans. Military and veteran communities are those who are or have served their country in an active line of duty. Members of the military and veterans are one of the biggest key publics who suffer from mental health issues after returning home from their service in combat. There are currently troubling statistics which show that not enough is being done to give military and veterans the appropriate care for their mental health. The second key publics are universities and youth. The universities and youth are made up of those ages from 14 to 20 and the higher education institutions that educate them. The youth of today have either been personally affected by mental illness or have seen the effects of it on those around them. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 1 in 4 students have a diagnosable illness, and of those, 40% do not seek help. Mental health is a growing topic for this public and needs to be more openly talked about. The third key publics are minorities. Minorities are those made up of racial and ethnic differences. According to the Office of Minority Health, in general, minorities have less access and less availability of mental health services. Minorities are a large key public in which mental health is drawn attention to because the resources and treatments are so limited. And our fourth key publics are seniors. Seniors are those made up of persons aged 60 or older. Many older adults and seniors fall at risk for developing mental disorders. The impact of mental health on older adults can be severe. Messaging. Our military and veteran communities have served us. It's time we give back and serve them. As of 2014, there are 21.8 million veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces. And the veterans, particularly those with disabilities related to their service, deserve better. For universities and youth, let's start the conversation and not be afraid to share it with our peers. The only shameful thing about mental illness is the stigma that's attached to it. Let's start the conversation. And minorities. Let's work with lawmakers to improve the resources and accessibility for mental health among minorities. 20% of African American adults are more likely to experience mental health issues than the rest of the population. We need to make sure we're getting them the help that they need. And seniors. Let's seek the proper knowledge on mental health changes among seniors and help them to know what to look for as they age. It's just as important for an older person with symptoms of depression to seek treatment as it is that's younger.